The maple tree in my front yard wasn't just a tree. It was the one thing my dad and I planted together the year before he passed. It wasn't huge, it wasn't messy, and it wasn't hurting anyone. It was just mine. A quiet reminder of someone I still missed. So when the HOA sent me a violation claiming the tree was non-conforming vegetation, I honestly thought they mixed up the address. The tree had been there for over a decade. It predated half the homes in the subdivision. I emailed the board, politely asking for clarification. They responded with a copy and paste paragraph about uniform landscaping standards and told me I had 21 days to remove it or face fines. I stared at that email longer than I cared to admit. It wasn't about landscaping. It was about someone in that board deciding they didn't like something that had nothing to do with them. Still, I didn't argue, I didn't accuse them of anything. I simply asked for the inspection report that justified the violation. They couldn't provide one. Instead, they doubled down, said the tree may pose future issues and that community consistency required proactive action. That phrase stuck with me, proactive action. It sounded like a board rewriting rules to justify decisions they'd already made, so I went through the bylaws myself. Turns out, the landscaping section hadn't been updated in 18 years. Half of it didn't even apply anymore. And tucked inside the fine print was something interesting. Trees planted prior to HOA formation were automatically grandfathered in. Mine was one of them. But I didn't stop there. Because as I dug deeper, I realized my tree wasn't the only issue. Over the years, the HOA had quietly forced at least a dozen homeowners to remove shrubs, hedges, or small trees, all without proper documentation. People complied because they didn't know they had the right to push back. So I gathered everything, dates, photos, before and after shots from neighbors. Old newsletters showing the tree in full view long before the HOA existed. And I did something the board never expected. I went door to door. Calm, kind, and simply asking neighbors if they'd ever had similar experiences. Turns out they had, and many of them were tired of it. We didn't storm the next HOA meeting, we just showed up. A room usually filled with 5 board members suddenly had 30 homeowners in it. All of us quiet, all of us waiting. When the board brought up landscaping compliance, I raised my hand and read a short statement. Nothing emotional, nothing dramatic, just factual. I cited the bylaws, the grandfather clause, the lack of inspection records, and the pattern of undocumented removals. Then I handed them a binder with everything I compiled. And another one to the community manager. And another to the State Property Oversight Office, which I CC'd in my earlier email. The room stayed silent for a long time. The violation disappeared the next morning. 2 weeks later, the HOA announced a complete overhaul of their landscaping policies, with homeowner input, documentation requirements, and a new appeals process. For the first time, people felt like they had a voice. My tree still stands. And now, so do a lot of others. I didn't save it by yelling. I saved it by giving the whole neighborhood a reason to stand together.